All right, so today we're going to talk about frequency tables and something called histograms. Okay, and that graph on your page right now is what we call a histogram. It looks a lot like a what? It looks very much like a bar graph, right? Okay, so the difference between a histogram and a bar graph, okay? The only difference is that we have an interval for our bars, okay? Usually our bars was like one value, or usually down here, like this represented like cars, walking, riding the bus, that kind of stuff if we were talking about how to get to school, okay? Whereas in this case, this is going to be an interval. Okay, that's really the only difference between a histogram and a bar graph. And I think that's the hardest part, is coming up with that interval. Okay, so this is an example of a frequency table. Okay, so this column right here represents the frequency, because it's called frequency, of the particular interval that it's associated with. Okay? Now, this guy right here, okay, is the intervals. Okay? And this is the super important part. Okay? The intervals have to be equal size. So 2 to 5 would be 2, 3, 4 to 5. They're all three of them, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They're all of equal size. Okay? They don't have any gaps, or they don't have any overlapping, right? This one stops at 5 and this one starts at 6. Okay? And then there aren't any gaps in them. So like if this one ends at 5, this one can't start at 8. That makes sense? All right. So we have these numbers right now. It says the data shows the number of hours per week a group of students spent watching TV. Okay, so the first thing, oopsie daisy, the first thing we need to do with this is make a table out of it. Oops. Oh, good. Yeah, awesome. All right, then. So, okay, so over here is going to be our hours spent watching. And over here is going to be our frequency. Okay, so we have to decide what we want our intervals to be. So I kind of like to start with, what's our smallest? Okay, there's a 0 up there, right? So we've got to include 0, right? Because there's 0. So maybe we go 0 to 5 hours, okay? So then what would our next interval be? 6 to 11, okay? And then it would be 12 to 17, and 18 to, are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure? To make them even, it has to be 23, yep. And I know 22 is our biggest number, but remember your intervals all have to be even. Okay? So, how many of them are up there from 0 to 5 hours? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So we're going to put 6 right here in our frequency. Okay, and then how many from 6 to 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 5 of them from 6 to 11. How about 12 to 17? 3? And from 18 to 23? just go back to that page we were on, sorry. Or you have it on, where's that? Let me see that. Oh, and they used the same intervals we did. Jackpot. I was a little nervous that they were going to have used different intervals and the stuff wasn't going to make sense. All right, so it gives us our graph, right? Okay, so we've got a number of lines here. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And right here, okay, so this side is going to be our frequency. Okay, and down here is going to be our hours studied. Yep. Or watch TV. We weren't studying, we were watching TV. Let's be real. It's a little more realistic of a table there. Well, you know what? I am very realistic. Okay, so our first interval, okay, is going to be 0 to 5. So we label that first interval 0 to 5. And our bar goes up to what? 6. Okay, so our bar goes to 6. Okay, our second interval is 6 to 11, and that guy goes up to 5. Our next interval is 12 to 17. He goes up to 3. And our last little guy is 18 to 23, and he only goes up to 1. Okay, this would probably be a much different graph if it was like hours spent on your phone. Yeah, it would look a lot different, right? I think our frequencies might go up an awful lot. I'm just being honest here. Okay? Alright, so let's match these guys up by their shapes. Okay? The bars are roughly the same height. The first one, yep. Okay, a vertical line cuts it into 2 equal parts. The second one, do you think so? Okay, if I draw a vertical line, it's fairly even, a little bit different. And notice how it's kind of a rough estimate. Nothing's going to be perfect, right? Okay, and then one peak that is not in the center, right? This peak's not in the center. Okay. For the most part, we're good. Okay, nothing real major, right? Alright. So a dot plot is going to look just like a histogram. Okay, only instead, okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's just say that we're using that same table that we used in our notes. Okay, this was 0 to 5, right? And what was my frequency? 6. So instead of drawing a bar, I'm going to make dots for each frequency. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. My next one was 6 to 11, and it was 5. So I'm just going 1,